Hello. Soaps are like Marmite, aren't they? You either love them or hate them. The characters in EastEnders, for example, seem to lurch from one crisis and conflict to another, but at least from time to time they get it all out into the open. They confront each other with honesty, even if, for the sake of drama, the process is often explosive. All of us, from time to time, will have been hurt or will have hurt someone, or we may be in conflict with them. But isn't resolving our hurts and conflicts properly one of the hardest things to do? Jesus has good advice, not only for the church, but for all human societies and for those of all beliefs and none, when he tells us how to resolve hurt and conflict. He says, "If your brother sins against you, go to him and show him his fault, but do it privately, just between yourselves. If he listens to you, you will have won your brother back." Jesus does not tell us to go and have it out with a brother or sister in a flaming row, to pick a fight or to score points. But we are to confront positively, by speaking the truth in love, to work at reconciliation in order to win our brother or sister back, to mend the relationship, not break it. When that happens, that's great. Of course, Jesus' advice refers to handling personal, normal, everyday conflict. Situations of harassment, bullying and abuse may require a different approach. Now, confronting our brother and sister in the way Jesus advises us is not easy. The Jesus way will require courage. It may require humility to accept we might not be 100% in the right ourselves. It will certainly require prayer. Jesus says that only when the one-to-one approach has failed should we speak to or involve others. But even then, our prime motive must be to mend the relationship. Now, of course, this is easier said than done, isn't it? And usually we find other ways of coping, don't we? Maybe we pretend that nothing is wrong. We may sweep the issue, our hurt, our anger or resentment under the carpet, while still seething with rage inside. Or maybe we paper over the cracks, pretending that everything is okay. But if that other person has been really offensive, aggressive, bullying, dishonest or immoral, that simply won't do. Forgiveness is not saying it didn't happen or it doesn't matter. Forgiveness is saying it did happen and it does matter. We're not going to pick a fight, but we're going to deal with it and end up loving and accepting each other. Or maybe rather than doing it the Jesus way and confronting the person concerned, we nurse our grudges, whine about our wounds and go and tell someone else, or in fact often tell several people. But of course then, if later we discover it was all a misunderstanding, a mistake, while we have not really been wronged, we have spread lies and untruths about a brother or sister. And if it wasn't a misunderstanding, we've made it difficult for the other person to admit their fault without public humiliation. Now, how helpful is that? There was an astute old priest who was often sought out for wise counsel in the confessional. One day a man came to him and confessed to this priest the sin of slandering his neighbour. He'd been hurt by his neighbour and had voiced his anger to his friends throughout the town. The priest spoke to the man of God's forgiveness and mercy and virtue. The man said he was sorry, and for his penance, the priest asked him to take a pillow and to walk from one end of the town to the other, placing a feather on the doorstep of each and every house. Once this had been done, the man was to return to the priest to receive absolution. So the man left and did as the priest had told him. The priest then asked the man to return to the town and gather all the feathers he had scattered. The man was astounded, saying, "Father, I can't. The wind will have blown all the feathers away. The priest nodded and smiled. My son, such is the way with slander and gossip. There is no task easier than detracting someone behind their back. Yet there is no task more difficult than trying to repair the wrongful and irreparable damage that slander and gossip inflict. The man smiled at the priest's wisdom. He had learned his lesson. Will we?